If you could bring a king, a philosopher, a warrior, from ancient times into the modern world, who would you choose? For me, it would be Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who once commanded tens of thousands of soldiers, and yet at the same time, a deeply introspective philosopher who quietly wrote down his reflections each night. Now imagine this. Marcus living in the year 2025. He is no longer on the northern battlefield, but sitting in front of a laptop. In front of him is ChatGPT, a machine that can write poetry, solve math problems, and offer philosophical advice. In just seconds, what would he do? Would he see AI as a new teacher, or as the greatest test of human reason? Marcus Aurelius was born in 121 AD. He was one of the last 5 good emperors of ancient Rome, but what made him special wasn't power, it was discipline. While other emperors lived in luxury, Marcus chose an austere life. He wore simple clothes, slept on the floor, and every night wrote to remind himself to live rightly. That book today we call Meditations. It wasn't meant to be published, it was a monologue, written for himself, not to sound wise but to never forget who he was. He wrote amid battles, plagues, and revolts. He wrote to keep his reason intact in a chaotic world. And the strange thing is, over 1,800 years later, those words still give readers chills. Marcus lived in a world without phones, without the internet, without AI. But he faced harsher things: war, disease, death, and rebellion. And yet in those circumstances, he remained mentally strong. He didn't complain, didn't curse fate, didn't seek to escape. He faced, he endured. He lived by the virtues he believed in, even as the world around him fell apart. And what about us? We live in an unprecedented age. Everything is fast, convenient, accessible. We don't go to war, we press a button to order food. AI can write everything for us, from essays to love letters. Yet paradoxically, the more convenient life becomes, the more disturbed we seem to be. Anxiety, depression, a sense of disorientation are spreading like a nameless disease. Maybe the problem isn't that the world is moving too fast, but that our minds are growing too weak, having forgotten how to govern themselves. Picture this: Marcus sitting alone in a small room, the desk lamp casting a glow on a laptop. He opens ChatGPT and types his first line: "What is the highest good a person should pursue in life?" The AI replies quickly, with arguments, philosophy, and quotes from other sages. Marcus reads and nods. Then he types again: "How can I avoid anger when insulted?" Once more, ChatGPT replies: "Breathe deeply, train the mind, understand that others' behavior reflects them, not you." Marcus stays silent. Then, after a while, he closes the laptop, not because the AI was wrong, but because he understands. No one can live your life for you. No machine, no matter how smart, can train your mind for you. Reason is not built from information, it is built from challenge, from facing hardship yourself. ChatGPT can help you think, but it cannot help you live with reason. We live in an age where a few typed words can give you access to all the world's knowledge. Tasks that once took hours now take seconds. Skills that used to require years of training are now replaced by a single command. It sounds like a dream, but what few dare to say is, this very convenience may be quietly killing our minds. Marcus once wrote, "Do not do anything that a puppet could do in your place. Act with reason, not by reflex." If he lived in 2025, he would see, today we live by reflex, and AI is being used to automate even the human part of us. When AI writes for you, you lose your own voice. Writing isn't just for others to read, it's for you to understand what you're thinking. Messy scribbles, awkward sentences, they are the rough map of your mind. When you let AI write for you, even just a paragraph, you're letting someone else draw that map. Each time you give up owning your voice, you weaken your ability to shape your thoughts. Worse, you may start believing that the AI's voice sounds better than yours. Marcus would never let that happen. His meditations weren't polished. They weren't trying to sound impressive. They were clumsy, simple, and profoundly honest, because he didn't write to be praised. He wrote to keep his reason from rotting in silence. When AI thinks for you, You forget how to ask yourself, have you ever asked, what should I do today? But instead of answering yourself, you just open YouTube, TikTok, or even type it into ChatGPT. You're handing over your life's questions to a machine. You're asking someone else to live for you. Stoicism teaches one clear thing. The biggest questions, only you can answer. Not because others aren't smart enough, but because they don't live your life. Marcus never looked for shortcuts. Sometimes he admitted he was confused, tired, even powerless, but he faced that. Today we feel slightly uncomfortable, and we rush to find a tool. But if you always avoid discomfort, you'll never build strength from within. When AI knows everything, you stop wanting to learn anything. A student says, I don't need to study. ChatGPT does it all. A writer complains, I can't keep up. AI creates 10 articles in 5 seconds. But Marcus would ask, why compare yourself to a machine? Your worth is not in speed, but in the quality of your mind. Learning is not to beat AI. Learning is to train virtue, patience, humility, and most of all, discipline of the mind. Marcus studied philosophy daily, even as an emperor, because he understood, if you stop learning, then no matter how powerful you are vulnerable to your own desires, and the moment we see AI being smarter, we drop the pen. In the end, AI is not the enemy, but dependency on convenience. That is what Marcus would warn against. He would say, if you cannot sit with yourself, if you cannot write a few lines of thought, if you cannot live without a prompt, then you are not free. You are just a puppet pulled by the strings of technology. Imagine one morning in 2025, Marcus Aurelius wakes in a small room in a modern city. He is no longer an emperor, just a regular person, a man amid technology, screens and endless notifications. What would he do? What would he think when he sees ChatGPT? Marcus would not panic, but he would be cautious. Marcus was not someone who rejected change. As emperor, he had to make decisions between war and peace, between innovation and tradition. He understood. The world always changes. What matters is whether your mind can remain steady. So if he saw that AI could write essays, solve math, compose music, create art, he wouldn't be afraid. But he would be cautious, not because AI is powerful, but because humans are too weak. In the face of comfort, Marcus would see a generation that communicates in emojis, listens to philosophy podcasts but can't sit still for 10 minutes, quotes Stoicism like a trend but can't handle a single insult, and he would reflect quietly. People study philosophy not to sound clever, but to live with strength. Marcus would remind us of a timeless principle: master yourself before mastering any technology. In Meditations, he once wrote, your greatest strength is your reason. Do not let it be deceived by ease, by habit, or by the crowd. In our time, the thing that most deceives our reason is convenience. We think we're free, but the first thing we do each morning is check our phones. We think we're creative, but we don't dare write a paragraph without AI support. Marcus would remind us, true freedom is not being able to do everything, but not being compelled by anything. So, are you truly free? If you can't sit still without opening the internet, are you truly in control? If AI decides what you read, write, or think, Marcus would tell you to start again. From the smallest things, he wouldn't ask you to abandon technology. He wouldn't tell you to burn your phone, but he would say, let your mornings begin without a screen. Write a few lines each day, without AI suggestions. Spend at least 10 minutes sitting alone, no entertainment, no tasks, just observing yourself. Because in silence you can hear your true voice. In clumsy writing, you see where your thoughts really are. And in moments when nothing is helping you, you train a kind of inner strength no AI can provide. Marcus would say, don't forget the human in being human. You can use AI to boost productivity. You can use AI to write an entire book in hours, but you cannot use AI to learn how to forgive. You cannot use AI to truly love. You cannot use AI to learn how to be silent, to endure, or to be brave when rejected. Those things only a human can have. And if you forget them, then no matter how powerful ChatGPT 100.0 becomes, you will still be empty. Marcus would remind you, do not seek what lies outside yourself, when all the greatest qualities are already within. Picture this. On a late weekend afternoon, Marcus stands alone on the rooftop of a high-rise. Below him, the city sparkles, and car lights, billboards, phone screens. Each light represents a person chasing something, comfort, fame, entertainment, or simply a moment of recognition. And he, the emperor who once ruled the Roman Empire, smiles gently. People today are not so different from those in my time. Marcus would see something both sad and thought-provoking. Technology has changed, but human nature has barely shifted. Still afraid of being left behind, still craving recognition from others, still haunted by the question, am I good enough? The difference, instead of worrying about what the village thinks, we worry about how many likes we get. Instead of fearing gossip, we fear being cancelled. Instead of standing in a real arena, we stand in a digital one. And Marcus would sigh, in any century, the real question is, have you lived as a rational human being? You can have everything, except peace, if you don't learn to master yourself. One of Marcus's most famous quotes is, peace comes not from avoiding external conflict, but from mastering your inner reactions. But in 2025, you live in a storm of reactions. A shocking tweet? React. A disappointing message? React. A video of someone living better than you? React again. You're pulled by emotions, algorithms, and endless hits of dopamine. And then you call it life. But Marcus would ask, are you truly living, or merely being driven by countless hands you don't even see? He wouldn't tell you to withdraw from the world, but he would say, stand firm within your own mind, as no matter how fast the world spins. Use AI like a knife, but never let it cut into your humanity. AI is a tool, and a tool is only good when the one using it has reason, virtue and courage. Marcus would say, use ChatGPT to study philosophy, but learn to live it, not just flaunt it. Use AI to assist your work, but don't use it to escape effort. Use AI to write, but never let it replace your thinking. Because once you stop thinking, stop questioning, stop daring to live authentically, you don't need to be controlled. You've already made yourself a shadow. You don't need to be like me, Gus. You just need to live true to your highest nature. Marcus doesn't want you to become a philosopher king. He doesn't expect you to write Stoic journals every night, but he does hope you live with awareness. Train your reason daily. Know what lies within your control, and let go of the rest. And above all, no matter how many versions of ChatGPT come out, no matter what dazzling technologies appear, you remain you, a human being who still asks, what is right? What is good? And how do I live a life I will not regret? Final reflection. If Marcus lived in 2025, he wouldn't be a content creator, not a KOL, not a podcast guest sharing 7 Stoic tips for modern life. He would probably do just one thing: sit still, write a few lines for himself, and live the day as if it were his last chance to live by reason. The rest, he would let flow with life,